Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for WNBF Local Living. I'm Candace Howell. The grandson of tobacco company magnate R.J. Reynolds is probably the last person you'd expect to become a smoke-free advocate. But that's exactly what Patrick Reynolds is, and he's spreading his message tonight at Horry Georgetown Technical College, and he's here with us today to tell us about this. Thanks for joining us.
Glad to be here.
Well, the first question I have to ask you is, how does your family feel about this initiative?
Well, my family were not very happy with me initially. They're from North Carolina, some of them. Patrick, you're going to be an embarrassment to the family, or I have stock in R.J. Reynolds and it'll go down if you do this. And it was 1980, in the 80s, 86, and the price of the stock did not go down, and I've received a number of awards and honors for the work I've done over the years, fighting for smoke-free laws, higher tobacco taxes that keep kids from starting and get smokers to quit and bring in revenue, and it's better than raising the state income tax or sales taxes. Come on, tobacco taxes, okay, and reduces healthcare costs long term. So there's a good tax, and been fighting for those. Been fighting for. So many different smoking policies around the world, getting the ads on TV, state spending on tobacco prevention. And South Carolina, unfortunately, has not been spending enough on getting the ads on TV and its tobacco prevention program, and most of the states haven't. But those are the kinds of things I've been doing, and my family, I think they came to terms with my anti-smoking campaign. They were a little less happy about the book that I wrote about the family, The Gilded Leaf, published in '89, and it tells the story of the R.J. Reynolds family, and it's a great bit of Carolina, lore and history. But
I'm sure that is a great read as well.
We're not going to. I don't want to. Well, I'll tell some anecdotes tonight at Horry Georgetown Technical College at 6.
And well, let's talk about that in particular and what folks can expect. I want you guys at home to know that this is a free event, there's the information there for you. It's tonight at 6 o'clock at the Burroughs and Chapin Auditorium, which is at Horry Georgetown Tech's Conway campus. Very important there. It's at the Conway campus, and again, free and open to the public. And Patrick, tell us a little bit about what they're going to hear about at the event tonight.
I open with some very colorful anecdotes, actually taken from my book. Libby Holman, who was alone in the room with my Uncle Smith, and he was shot through the head. And she was indicted for murder. She was a big Broadway star, and it was a huge tabloid scandal at the time. I'll talk about how my father caught my mom smoking. My father being a great lover of aviation in the 1920s, flying biplanes, and later becoming the principal stockholder of Delta Airlines, and became a pioneer in aviation. And so those are a few of those, and it leads into my parents' divorce when I was 3, and how I missed my father. And when I finally got to meet him for the first time, he sent for me not until I was 9.
Wow.
I know, it's sad. And it hurt. And when the big day came, they showed me into the room where he was. He was lying down on his back, dying from smoking. And I said, "Dad, what's wrong?" And there's R.J. Reynolds, Jr., the son of the man who founded the company, makes Camels and Winstons, dying. And he said, "No, it's nothing to do with my smoking." And he was smoking. And he died when I was 15. They say that you find your calling, what you're supposed to do with your life, right inside your deepest wound. It's the ex-alcoholic who becomes a good speaker on drugs or alcohol, the ex-drug addict who becomes a passionate speaker about drugs, and a guy whose father died from smoking who cares about this issue and becomes an advocate for a smoke-free America. Now, I also have a great platform as a Reynolds to make a difference. And I thought of running for Congress, but my wife said, "I don't want to be a political wife," so here I am. And perhaps I'm making more of a difference doing this work, and I'll do it the rest of my life.
Are. And you've threaded those wounds from your past, obviously, into these initiatives. And, there is a movement afoot here. And in our area, our viewers at home have seen the commercials for Smoke-Free Horry, which is part of a bigger movement that you have really invested a lot of time in, and you're going to dive into that. And the youth are so important with this initiative.
The youth are very important. And if I had a message for the kids, it would be this. The tobacco companies know that nobody starts smoking after 19. 9 out of every 10 smokers became addicted before age 18. It's that time when they're rebelling from parents and they're looking for a way to establish their independence and who they are as separate entities than their parents. And smoking, unfortunately, has been a traditional way to rebel. However, it's extremely addictive. And once a kid gets hooked, they go on to smoke for 17 years and they cannot stop, and they try to quit and fail. So the tobacco companies targeted our kids, and to get those messages back on TV through groups like Smoke Free Ori, through increased spending in the state legislature, we can make a difference with our kids. Smoking bans, we need a statewide smoking ban across the state of South Carolina. 29 states have now banned smoking from all bars and restaurants statewide. North Carolina has done it. 40 towns in South Carolina have banned smoking from all bars and restaurants. And it's just an idea whose time has come. Secondhand smoke kills. It causes lung cancer and heart disease. And it's just, people come here, and I've heard about a study of tourists who come to Myrtle Beach. As many as 70% of them are expecting smoke-free restaurants and smoke-free bars. And guess what? If they don't get them, they may not come back, because most of the rest of the country is 100% smoke-free by now. Mm-hmm. And I know that two of the cities along the Strand here have passed strong, comprehensive bans in restaurants and bars. And it's,
and not without a great deal of work, too. They went through a lot to get those put in place. And you mentioned, too, these other states that are smoke-free. And I'm originally from New York, and that is a smoke-free state now. And it's interesting to see the progression of how the states are taking hold of that and what they're doing with it. So again, I just want to remind folks tonight, you absolutely must come out and see Patrick. 6 o'clock at the Horry Georgetown Technical College campus. Again, that is the Conway campus, and it is free and open to the public. And a message you'd like them to take away tonight.
We live in a complex time with complex problems. It's a scary time. We're ready to grasp on to an ideology that is perhaps dangerous. We don't need taxes. We don't need the government. We don't need regulation. It's an easy solution, doesn't require a lot of thinking. But you know what? Tobacco taxes are a good tax. They stop kids from starting. They get smokers to quit. They bring in revenue. They cut healthcare costs. My gosh, there's a good tax. And regulation, well, look what happened on Wall Street. FDA regulation of tobacco, we couldn't get passed in the previous administration, but Obama signed it into law 6 months after taking office. We couldn't get a tobacco tax passed. And certainly,
you're going to
Obama put it in. We have it 2 weeks after they took office in this current administration. So some taxes are good taxes, some regulations are good regulations. Think outside the box and keep an open mind, because secondhand smoke kills.
It definitely does. And so come see Patrick tonight. Again, Horry Georgetown Technical College campus, and it's at the auditorium there, the Conway campus, free and open to the public.